Hello everyone! Today we have r/petty revenge. And today's stories are about partners getting revenge on their cheating spouses. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel because I really want to get 150 subscribers as soon as possible. Don't cheat on your wife before an important career meeting. My dad is a policeman and he works with a man, let's call him Bobby, who by all accounts is a pretty stand-up fellow, hardworking and generally a pretty nice guy. Anyway, his downfall came about 5 years ago when he had an affair, having been married for 15 years. I should mention at this point that they have no children. Suffice to say, his wife was not over the moon about it. You hear stories about scorned partners setting fire to their other half's cars or scattering their clothes down the street, but this, as far as angry spouse revenge, is something quite special. Bobby's wife found out about the affair because a friend of hers is married to a colleague of his. News spread. Instead of confronting him about it, she thought long and hard about a way to really ruin his hectic day. Bobby had an important work day coming up. Some sort of meeting with his superiors with a potential for promotion, but I cannot remember the details. Bobby's wife carefully took a thread cutter to each item of clothing that he would be wearing that day and unpicked every other stitch. No kidding. From his suit down to his underwear. You can imagine that the morning hustle and bustle commute was enough to perhaps strain some of the seams at most. But as the day wore on, his clothes started to slowly fall apart. First, a hole in the toe of his shoe. She was obviously dedicated to the cause. Then his trousers started to fray upwards from the ankles. The real kicker came when 10 minutes into this very important business meeting, the arm fell off his suit jacket. The meeting was cut short, and for reasons that may or may not be related, I don't believe that he ever received the promotion he was after. Bobby and his wife are now happily divorced. The dedication of this woman is amazing. I wouldn't be able to do that. I would just explode then and there. But she is a cold-hearted girl. Ex-wife accused me of cheating. So I did. I was married a few years ago, and my ex-wife was insanely jealous. She would constantly snoop through my phone and read all my Facebook messages. I have a female friend that I have been friends with since I was like 15 years old. We met online on a forum, turns out she lived the next city over, and we would talk every day. We had only actually met once in the real life. As we got older, we drifted apart, and we both got married to other people. But we would still check in from time to time though, just to see how the other person was doing. Turns out things with her husband were falling apart about the time things started falling apart in my marriage too, and she had left him. We started talking again. She told me how she had just gotten a new puppy, and I was telling her about my new job. Nothing even close to inappropriate. My wife found our Facebook conversation by snooping through my phone and screamed at me saying I was cheating on her with my friend. I tried to explain that we were just having a friendly conversation and nothing more, but she said I was a liar and a cheater and she was leaving me to move back in with her parents. She packed a quick bag and left. A couple of days later, she asked if she could come by that weekend with a truck to grab all of her stuff. She also asked if I could go somewhere for the afternoon since she didn't want to see me or have me cause any trouble. I said sure, and made plans with my friend. So, as my ex-wife was at my place packing up her stuff, I was at my friend's place doing the exact thing she had accused me of doing. Wink, wink. Ugh, it sounds like you really wanted to do that. Because it was a friendly conversation and 2 days later, you're sleeping with that woman. Never thought I'd be so happy to catch my ex-wife cheating. I'm not even sure if this qualifies as revenge. I think it does, but I'll let the public be the judge. First off, this story occurred many years ago. Let me give you a rundown of the laws around divorce where we lived at the time. Both parties need to agree on the divorce unless one party can prove the other party is at fault. This would mean something akin to cheating. There are also other reasons, but cheating falls into this. Now, I honestly shouldn't have married my ex-wife, but I was young, dumb, full of man juice. She was pretty, and I did what I did. So after our first year of marriage, I came to the conclusion I wanted to end our marriage. It wasn't working out for many reasons. However, my ex-wife did not want to divorce. Her life was better being married to me than without me, and I think she was trying to hold on to that. But there was no love. My ex-wife set a price of $100,000 to agree to a divorce. This does happen here, where if one party wants a divorce and the other doesn't, the party that doesn't want the divorce come up with a cash payment they want and you negotiate from there. Now, I didn't have 100k. I could get about 25k and I was willing to pay that. Also, we had no kids, we didn't own anything together, etc. We spent a long time going back and forth over money and how much I'd paid her to divorce me. She finally agreed. I was thrilled. I was so happy. I decided I would go out and celebrate, and that night the stars aligned. Now, to give you an idea of utterly lucky I am about to get, we lived in a city about the size of Chicago. Many millions of people, lots of places to go. My friend took me to a new bar in a part of the city I had never been to before. We celebrated, we had a good time. I walked out the bar around 2:30 a.m. and it was like effing Christmas. There was my wife with another man. I had a hunch she was cheating on me and I was so happy. She was heading for a taxi and I ran and got into a taxi behind her and told the cab driver to follow them. Much to my enjoyment, the taxi was clearly going to my house. She gets out, I pull out the camera and I get a few pictures of her kissing this man. Once I get the photos, I immediately email them to my work account to protect them and I get out of the car and I approach the two lovebirds. I introduce myself, I thank the kind gentleman and I make one request. If they want to have an adult time, don't have adult time in my house. But that's all. I then hand her lover my business card, I thank him for all the money he saved me and tell him if he ever wants to go grab a beer, I'd be happy to buy him a few rounds. I then wish the two lovebirds all the best and go up the stairs and head to bed. To say my ex-wife was livid was understatement. However, the next morning she pointed out something, and I have no idea how strong her argument could be in a courtroom, but it did concern me. She said, since we already agreed to divorce, it wasn't really cheating, and I would still have to pay her. Well, that afternoon I get a phone call. It's my ex-wife's boyfriend. He apologized for sleeping with my ex-wife. I told him no worries. He then said he'd like to talk to me. We agreed to meet up, and we do. Turns out he had previously been cheated on, and apparently my ex-wife lied to him about her relationship status. She said we were waiting for our divorce to be finalized, which was not true, and that she didn't live with me anymore, which was not true. He also asked me if I had adult time with her in the last 6 months, and I said I did. Turns out their relationship had begun about 6 months prior, and they were physically active with each other. And she told him she wasn't having adult time with anyone, especially me. Whoops! I asked him if he had any documentation of them dating, and he goes, yeah. He ended up sending me all the pictures he took of them together, some of which included him kissing her, etc. He also sent me numerous screenshots of text messages between her and him, some of which included her clearly lying about her relationship status with me. I put all of this in a folder and backed it up to numerous places. Also, I included a USB drive which I hide in my office at work in case she found a way to delete all the data, which she never did. I then went to my ex-wife and I had a sit down with her. I went over the mountain of evidence I had against her. Option A. She had agreed to a non-contested divorce. I will give her 30 days to move out. She gets nothing from me and I get nothing from her. Option B. I get a lawyer and I sue the living crap out of her, get a massive judgment against, still get my divorce, and settle her with a ton of debt for the rest of her life. She agreed to the non-contested divorce. That was on a Saturday. Next Monday, we went to the courthouse, filled the form for divorce, and this started her 30 days. I stayed with my buddy so I could be out of her way. We had a court hearing a few weeks later. Judge made it clear we were doing a non-contested divorce. Once he stamps the divorce decree, we have to report this to City Hall, and our divorce will be finalized. Us not having kids or property make it quick and easy. We both agreed, we both signed, Judge stamped the documents, I eagerly grabbed my divorce decree and rushed to the City Hall to report my divorce, and wham bam thank you ma'am, I was a free man. I actually ended up becoming friends with the guy that was sleeping with my wife, and we still talk today. Although, over COVID pandemic, our relationship got distant. But not because of falling out or anything, just not talking to each other. Overall story is beautiful and karma and everything, but the part where OP became friends with the guy, rubs me the wrong way. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can also watch that awesome video or this awesome playlist. See you next time!